Hello, my friends, and welcome to Saturdays Live with LavaSub. I am LavaSub. You can call me Weston. Today, we're going to be reacting to dating, hashtag no filter, because that's what we're doing Saturdays now is react content, commentary, if you want to call it that. Chad Vice is what I've been kind of thinking about it as, because especially with the dating shows, there's just... My dudes aren't doing so hot at dating, it seems. I started watching dating shows in the last year or so, and I feel bad for everyone involved because there's so much about like human interaction that we can gain from that kind of from dating specifically. There's so much we can gain from each other, and I feel like we missed the point in a lot of cases because of our like cultural obsession with seeing each other naked, and that being kind of a replacement for vulnerability, for sex, as a replacement for genuine connection, and especially kind of like a male pattern culturally with just obsession with sex, just generally. I think, full disclosure, I've been a pretty shitty dude in the course of my life. I have come a long way from being that person. I like to believe, but yeah, I feel like I have something to offer in these kinds of situations because of my life experience, who I've been, where I've been, how I've acted, and this episode. Currently, we're going to be watching Season 1, Episode 3 of Dating, hashtag no filter, called Love for Dummies, which I'm going to be honest with you, I pre-watched, but it's been like 6 months or maybe more since I did so. So my memory's not exactly 100% on this, but I talked about it last stream. I was talking about an episode of this show where a young man brings puppets on the date. And honestly, the puppets are going to be probably less of my critique than some other things that happen in this date. So, of course, content warning as always. I will be probably getting a little hype and might be saying some shit that is not for all audiences. So, if you are gonna complain about it, get the fuck out. No, but for real, sensitive content, as always. And I feel like I'm going to try and take this as seriously as is necessary and try not to disparage, but try and be constructive in how I'm critiquing this show. Yeah, because, it's not my place, I don't think. I mean, I do tend to do this, but that's, like I was saying, because of my life experience, I sometimes maybe am projecting even a little bit about my feelings about a lot of the men in these kinds of shows and these kinds of social situations. I tend to be pretty critical because I've seen the kind of pain that can be caused by carelessness, ignorance, and yeah, I that's fucking probably like 75, 80%, maybe more of the reason that I want to do this kind of stuff in the first place. Yeah. So feel free. I have all my links in the chat, and check out my stuff there. And yeah, I don't think there's any cause for delay. I've gotten all of the preamble out of the way, so let's get into it. Dating No Filter, Season 1, Episode 3, Love for Dummies. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, so an element I forgot about this show, I already want to specify, is this will be an interesting one to critique, because not only are there the people dating, there's also comedians giving commentary in the show, like edited into like the format of this show. So I'm going to be effectively half as funny as any of the people reacting to this stuff because they're all very funny professional comedians. I probably won't have many critiques for what they say. I just remember pretty much agreeing with most of what they had to say in the cutaways. So yeah, it's an interesting show. It's real singles uh, on real dates. I mean, there's definitely a lot of production that goes into this. I don't know anyone who's worked on this show specifically, at least that I know of, and I don't know. I don't presume to know whether or not there's much going into like how production is telling these people to act. But like a lot of these are shot in Los Angeles, and half the people going on them found the casting call on a literal casting site because they're actors. I know this because I am an actor and have seen a fuck ton of casting calls for shows just like this, either for internet specific content or for like legit. This is a entertainment channel. I've seen some for Showtime and things like that. It's massively common. So honestly, I think that makes a lot of their behavior even more sus. Just my opinion. But yeah, let's get into it. I keep pausing. Oh man. Man. Yeah, the comedians really make this show, I gotta say. Like, they seem to have like good camaraderie. There, I think, are 6 or 8 different pairs of comedians reacting to each of these dates. There's 2 dates, I think, per episode, and yeah, they did a great job finding these people to go together because they all seem to vibe pretty well. Um, all right, so Danny, 23. 23, a puppeteer, uh, and voiceover actor. I think he also talks about later he's a comedian. This guy says like voiceover actor. I've got a lot of different voices, and then he just does the same voice like over and over again. I'm not trying to disparage Danny. He's 23. He's still figuring his shit out. I'm sure he's probably very talented. But maybe a little nervous. I think Danny being nervous is going to be a big factor in everything we say about Danny for the episode. Oh god, he's old school. Oh, he wears fedoras. I forgot. He loves Frank Sinatra. Oh, he's Italian. I forgot. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna get in. I'm not gonna be Italiophobic. I promise. Like, okay, here's the thing. Danny, he's pretty cute. He's young. He's a little, he gives shut-in vibes, but so do I think, maybe. Either way, he's cute. I think he's trying to be his father or some other older male role model that was in his life or is in his life, and it results in like being an old man at 23, which doesn't actually work. I don't know if you ever tried it, but oh god, I forgot she's corny too. Courtney, 26. Her intro, she's white and she's rapping. I don't have to say more. She's looking for an Italian, and he's his. There's a portion of his persona that is, I'm Italian. John Marcos Ceresi. This is okay. Actually, that's funny. Danny is like a less swaggy John Marcos Ceresi. Uh, who does puppets? I don't disparage puppeteers. I have done a lot of theater. I think puppeteering is a noble and incredibly creative art form. I think it's very difficult. Making the puppets is no easy feat. I know a couple of people who have taken on puppet making as like something that they very much care for and do a lot of really beautiful work. You know, I even sort of was a puppet once. In college, I played the dinosaur pet in Skin of Our Teeth, and I was in a giant felt and wire baby T Rex costume, which I think kind of counts as puppeteering a little bit because it's a different body and you're in this big suit and it's not like fit to your body at all. It's just like this big hovering mass. Um, yeah, full body. Thank you, Sam. You're validating me here, and I need that. Um, so yeah, it was definitely a really fun role. I had a lot of fun doing it. Me and my buddy, one of my besties from that theater program, CJ, were the pets. If you've never seen Skin of Our Teeth, it's actually a really really fun little play. Uh, Thornton Wilder was a weirdo. I think we all know that if you're a theater nerd. Anyway, I was just talking about how puppeteering is cool and we should respect it. Danny, just a baby acting like an old man. And Courtney is white people. I don't mean this in any. I don't want to sound hypercritical because there are good ones out there, I'm sure. But just don't rap. Be a rapper. It's it is very specific form of art, and if you haven't been doing it for like decades, don't. Just don't. It's like people who like just get into something and then immediately think that they are going to blow up on social media doing this thing that is a popular format for content on the internet. And it's just not how it works. In almost every case, you need time to actually develop the skill to play in those kinds of fields. I mean, this is any skill, any highly complicated, especially artistic skills. Like, be self-aware. That's all I'm saying. Just be self-aware. Courtney, be self-aware. What's weird is they're all like, she's too intimidating for him, but she's the corniest rapper you've ever heard in your life. I'm sorry, Courtney. I know you're not watching. Oh, this format's cringe. They talk to them that like they probably have a production phone, and they're supposed to like be doing the whole like, it's just a social media post, definitely not for the show. But it's yeah, they're shooting it in landscape. Who shoots their stories on Instagram in landscape? And so Danny has brought his puppets. Danny Jr. I so she said Italian, but she was thinking like that dude in one of the more recent seasons of Love Island who's like tall, dark, handsome, just gorgeous Italian man. And Danny is Oh yeah. So Danny not only brings Danny Jr. his miniature me puppet style. His voice for his character is like it's like a Muppet surfer. No, it's like a Sesame Street surfer like character. Like the slow, but like a child friendly delivery. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about? The Sesame Street kind of like uh, rhythm of speaking as a puppet. That's what he's doing. Um, Courtney's about to be introduced to her puppet. So he named her Courtney. Danny named the other puppet Courtney, and like I mean, it's not as much alike as Danny Jr. looks like Danny. Courtney, the puppet, kind of looks like Courtney, which means that he had to get like permission from production to like for her likeness. Like what does she look like? Like probably days or weeks in advance, so that he could make these changes to maybe an existing puppet or make a whole new puppet. Which, gentlemen, I don't like unless this is someone that you're acquainted to already. Don't do this. If you're going on a blind date, you met someone on Tinder, one of the dating apps, things like that. Like, and you are a creative, don't do this. Don't like make art of them yet. Like, sure, make it, but show them later. Show them after you've been on a few dates. And if that never works out, buddy, you know, you could throw it on social media if you want to. But like, I think it's a level of intimacy that's like not asked for. It's like, especially in this case, where like it's very blind dating. I feel like it's a little bit invasive. It's automatically, I think, put Courtney a little bit on guard. You can see it in her face where she's just like, "Oh, Courtney!" Like, I think Courtney's a little bit quirky herself, as we can tell. She's a white person who raps, and not in a good way. So, like, I think she's ready for a little bit of quirkiness, but she's a rare exception where it's like I would just steer clear of any kinds of big shows of affection before you ever meet a person. That's a great point, Sam. Is that puppets? It's a hand in the body of the puppet. Great point, Sam. Comedians don't like it. One guy likes it, but that guy is there specifically to be contrarian. No, thank God Jeff Dunham isn't here. However, I don't know if Danny is aspiring to be a Jeff Dunham or what he's doing with these puppets. I don't. I think he talks about it later, where he's like, "I do puppeteering for comedy. It's like he's my comedian comic uh, sidekick." So yeah. So Danny has Courtney use Courtney the puppet and like is explaining to her how the puppet works. And like there's a level of intimacy that she just became aware of, and everybody, all the comedians are responding like, yeah, is this nerd foreplay? Because The gays brought an Avenue Q reference, so. Oh right, they're going on a tandem bike ride. That's like their date isn't just playing with puppets. Oh. And like Danny isn't doing like he's not able to place his voice in the puppet without like show like he's not a ventriloquist in any stretch of the imagination. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like with the two of them, it's a little endearing, but also. All right. Well, the next we're being introduced to the next two daters, Alex and I can't remember, or they haven't introduced the dude yet. But Alex is I think said 24. She's in finance, and they were like, "Ooh, brains and beauty," because Alex is a little smoke show, but like I don't know, fuck finance people. We're like, don't tell me you're in finance when you come on a date with me if that's what you do, because I'm gonna be like, nope. Don't be proud of yourself if you're in finance. You're a bad person. Okay, so we're getting introduced to the dude. His name is Ross. He's got a six pack. He's a bartender. Um, he's like, oh, he's really tall. He's 6'8". He's like, people look at me and think I'm a douchebag. I have no idea why, and that's, I think, an encapsulation of how I feel about this man. It's figure out why. Little self-awareness goes a long way, my friend. Um, he looks like a Proud Boy out of costume. That's why people think that. His haircut, his facial hair, his whole vibe. Like he might be very progressive young gentleman, but I'm pretty sure he's not. His main criteria is she's pretty and has a smile. He's hot, but I don't like him. I feel the same. Oh right. Their date is he takes her to his MMA gym. If you don't plan on hitting a person in a romantic relationship, don't take them to an MMA gym on your first date and spar with them. Well, it's not his MMA gym. He's just bro, and that's probably a thing he does. Or wishes he did, and is now presenting himself like on television as though he does it. I'm not sure. Jokes all day. Sexy, fiery, Latina, and I hope she's doing good. Jokes all day. He wants her to be Latina. She might be. I don't know. I can't say for sure. She hasn't mentioned. Oh God. I think he got a boner just like at looking at her. Oh no. Sorry. Internet disconnected. So episode is currently paused. So sorry. Technical difficulties. Um, I guess this is a good point, as I need to say. You know, I don't know how I feel about white dudes who are like specifically into another race of people. Like, it kind of is just a lack of self-awareness that like of fetishization based on race and things like that. Like, I feel like it's cool if you're a white dude and end up finding somebody that isn't another white person, and you guys end up falling in love or having like a few good dates, even just having some good sex. I think that's valid. But yeah, if it's like I'm looking for that, I think it's a little bit fetishy. I think you need to do some soul searching, my dude. Okay, is fiery Latina is what he's looking for. I think that's another like he wants her to be goofy, fiery, good smile, pretty. I think it's just very like very surface kind of desires, which it's a blind date. You know, you might if this didn't happen on TV, maybe it would have happened on like a dating site, Tinder, something like that, a hookup site. You know, I think those surface level kind of desires are valid. Oh my God, he's like 2 feet taller than her. She's into it though. She calls him climbable. I think they're both kind of shallow. But hey, like I said, sometimes you just looking to hook up and being a little shallow. It's maybe a little weird, but it's valid. I think it's weird, but I'm me. That's my opinion. It's not necessarily the true. Oh God, they've got a basket for the tandem bike. So we're back to Danny and Courtney, by the way. They put the puppets in the basket, and they're getting on the tandem bike. He's in front, by the way. Honestly, tandem biking, super fun. Like, I do think it's another one of those things where I'm like, is that really what you do on a first date? So they're both Italian, yeah. She names 4 white types of people from around the world, and it's just like, this is my ethnicity. Uh, but don't do that. Don't call yourself or anyone a mutt. We're not dogs. No. one of the comedians called him a mix of Seinfeld and Pete Davidson, and I disagree very much. So Danny Jr. asked Courtney Jr. if she would like to go get drinks with him at a little place. I yeah, Courtney seems into it. She seems to be having fun at this point. She calls him cute and nice. So there's that. We're back to oh shit, I forgot his name again. Alex and the giant. So yeah, they're stepping into the cage with pads and gloves on, but no head protection. Yeah. So they're in this MMA gym. They're now in the ring together with pads and gloves. But yeah. So so he does this thing that I've seen in real life, and like she seems into it. And I don't. I just I think that there is something supremely weird about taking a first date into a MMA cage and having them throw a few kicks at you to build up like that intimacy, that closeness, so that later you can pick them up by their ass. Like read the signs, but probably don't do this. Yeah, he definitely has that vibe of like I'm a nice guy until I'm not kind of shit. Like I don't know. This guy's they're both kind of dumb, like ditzy people. So I just it's one of those things where it's just like okay, you're both problematic. I'm not gonna spend my time worrying about either of you. Hopefully everything will turn out okay. But Jesus, I hope you got some big brothers or something, Alex. They say he looks like a contestant on Teen Jeopardy. And they're right to say it. He's taking Courtney to like a speakeasy, um, because like he feels like it's more classy than a normal bar, which disagree, but they're both Italian. I don't know. I said I wasn't going to be Italiophobic, so I'm going to not say anymore. He left the puppets at home, so now he doesn't have anything to hide behind. And you'd think this would be good for the date. Everyone would benefit from this. He's already drinking before she gets there. When she walks in, he's like, "Oh, think drinks are pretty common, like dating thing. Her parents are rich. She was like, I went to culinary school and then I just took a few years off to go travel and everything. And it's just like, girl, it's very, you're very fortunate. Oh my God. Everyone's worried about their age gap, but there's only a 3 year age gap between them. I don't know why everyone was like, oh no, it's 3 years between them. She's 26. What does it matter? Yeah, he is pounding his drink. Okay, here is where Danny makes a classic foible. He's drank probably I think they're editing it out, but he's had at least a couple because he asks her. So as a 23-year-old, he asks her. So like at 26, do you feel like better about life or? And I can tell you from experience, I've been in very similar situations, and like vulnerability is good. Vulnerability, being honest with someone, this is what I'm talking about. Like being open with somebody. If you have a connection, if you're like vibing with them, you know, that's the kind of thing that is good. Like you want to maybe open up about this aspect of your life, that aspect of your life. But if you're just like genuinely kind of like at a place where you're like going to espouse some kind of really cynical point of view, like trust that it's probably the alcohol or that this is something you could get into later in a relationship. Um, like that's such a weird, and she feels that way, and you can see it on her face. Like he's also like low key calling her old. Like I don't think he means to, but that's just we have a very weird social setup uh, where like if you're even like in your mid 20s, like as a woman, like you're kind of like past the point of the ingenue or whatever, which is absurd because you're 26, you're a baby still. I'm 36, and maybe I still don't feel necessarily like I'm super old or anything like that. I've got gray in my hair and in my beard, but like, it's like I don't feel like, especially with us being able to live into our 80s like fairly comfortably in this society, I don't think like the mid 30s are that big of a like you're not old. You know what I mean? Like we were old like 150. Like no, we were old like 400 years ago at 36. I think because of all of the everything that was different in our societies back then. Um, so yeah, it's just it's she tells him. Right. Her response almost immediately is like, first of all, I'm not that much older than you. She feels it. That's how she feels. I am not reading in too deep into this. F bombs. He asks her F bombs. Are you cool with that? Danny, your age is showing. Like I was saying, this man wants to be an old man, but is in a body and mind of a 23-year-old person. Like, he doesn't know how to act in these kinds of situations. Date is going well. He is actively bombing now. I guess it's maybe an Italian cultural thing, like don't swear. Honestly, not bad piece of advice. If you have like extensive propensity to swear, I tend to swear a lot. Maybe like don't go overboard on your first date. Like And honestly, like, speaking of going overboard, if you're going for drinks, don't have too many. Have one. Have one, two at the max. If they're like potent drinks, definitely just one. And then switch to juice. Switch to a Shirley Temple. Get something that you like to drink but isn't alcoholic, because you don't want to behave like a drunk person. On like that's how that person's going to remember you. And I don't know if you need to know this, but drunk people are not that fun to hang out with, especially if you're not drunk, or at least the same level of drunk. Oh my god. Sorry, Danny is bad at this. So Courtney asks him, "What are you looking to get out of this? What do you want to get out of this date?" She's looking for some kind of confirmation that he's like as into her as she is into him. Like she's, despite all of the things he is doing to blow this date up and make it seem like much more awkward than it needs to be. She's still into it. She would go home with this guy tonight if he just acted right. Probably. I don't know. They've been talking a lot about being Italian. She doesn't seem to like have that like cultural stigma where like, her grandma's not going to call her a harlot if she, or probably ever find out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The whole Irish, Italian, like Catholicism, blah blah blah. Anyway, she's like, I want to know if you're into me. What do you want out of this? Because like I'm hinting right now that we could have some fun. And he responds, I suppose I don't know. Like, bro, just be honest. If you're just looking to smash, Tyler, I'm being real with you. If like I think if you're not into her, which he already said he's into her. She's not only like he finds her attractive, but also he's like having fun. She's kind of silly and quirky in a similar way that he is. They both have like that cultural kind of shorthand, both being Italian. Like there's a certain amount that they're just like they should probably be vibing. And he, because he's too nervous to tell her like I'm into you, or at bare minimum, like I think we could have some fun. Let's get a tag. Let's call it here. Not drink anymore and go somewhere else outside the purview of the production crew. But instead, he's going to almost like accidentally neg her, which I don't know if you follow any of those pickup artist guys, but they're really bad at actually getting laid, and with like actual consent. So don't listen to those fucking guys. They're literally scum you wipe off the bottom of your shoe. Yeah, everybody's like, no! Oh god, we're going back to Ross. Ross and Alex. No buff guys are named Ross. I I'm trying to think of buff guys named Ross. I think I know a guy named Ross that is like he rides like 35 miles a day on his bike or whatever. But that's I can't. It's like someone I met on a crew someone that was crew on a film I was working on. I can't remember which one off the top of my head if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's not necessarily like, you know what, I would say it is a buff guy name, but I don't know a lot of dudes named Ross that are like that guy. The guy I know best that's named Ross is like similar size to me, artsy dude that lives in Oakland. One of the people I've worked in as an actor with since we were in high school and stuff like that. Lovely, lovely human being, but not like the type that I think is going to the gym 5 or 6 days a week. So yeah, Ross is a giant human, and he's ordering tequila. She, Alex, is like 5'1" and probably like 110 pounds at max. Uh, and they're gonna get tequila for both of them. Don't do that. If you get somebody drunk and then try and have sex with them, I think you're a scumbag. Uh, like I don't think that's a good way to go about having healthy relationships. If you're getting somebody wasted to the point where they're just like not able to really give consent. Tequila is a very potent drink. Uh, she is much smaller than him. He's going to be able to outdrink her fairly easily, uh, and still be very sober. They're both starting to use AAVE, which I think is gross. Also, he's using it more than her, and he's the whitest person ever. She's giving "I've never had a drink before" energy. So they traded drinks, and I think um, her brain blew up when she tried to drink regular tequila. Oh no, I forgot. He's her dad. Okay, I remember watching this episode now. So her ethnic background, her dad is a white, like surfer dude from like some beach coastal area of Southern California, and her mom is a black woman. So like, um, yeah, he asked her. He wanted to know what's your ethnic background because white dudes love doing that. Um, but stop it. Don't do that. Actually, it's a bad idea. You sound weird. Even if you mean nothing by it, let that information be offered rather than request it. I don't think inherently there's anything wrong with that, but like it's not necessary. It's not pertinent unless you're trying to fetishize this person and their ethnicity. It's I'm my I have family from Lebanon. You know, I have multi ethnic background. I don't like it when people ask me that shit. I want to punch you in the fucking mouth. Because I maybe that's just my own specific trauma growing up in Naziville in Northern California and having to be asked that question on a daily fucking basis. But we live in Naziville, the country, and I feel like just don't ask that question because it's triggering. Potentially, at least for most people, um, but especially people with mixed ethnicities, I feel like get asked that even more often, and it always feels fetishy. So my own personal perspective on that subject, being multi-ethnic, don't fucking do it, white people. He's talking about her being his wife already. He referred to her mom as his mother-in-law. This dude is so cringe. If this guy wasn't a uh, like budget Chris Hemsworth, he would get no puss. I swear to God, this guy goes on his youth and looks and muscularity almost entirely because he has zero personality other than like appropriating the language of black people and being a pervert. One of the lesbian commentators watching Alex and Ross is just like, I'm so glad I don't have to date men. I, oh, yeah. He asked her for his number, and she put in her name with two X's and a peach after her name. So I guess it's a signal. She's 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 DTF. You know, bare minimum. One of the commentators does bring up this is a way to almost like you're almost being a little desperate here, Alex. But you know, I think it's good to be honest and upfront with your desires. Yeah, Alex is like he's trustworthy, and I like if a dude takes you to an MMA gym and like wants to wrestle with you on your first date, it's not trustworthy. Not proven trustworthy. He might be further down the road. Don't don't take that away as your first impression. It's weird. Okay, back to Courtney and Danny. This is the meat. He was making everybody cringe. Oh, I don't know what I'm looking for. I just feel obligated. Danny, shut up, bro. What do you mean obligated? He's self-destructing. Okay, guys, alcohol is a depressant. I don't care how many times you've gotten blasted and had the best fucking time. It's a depressant. If you are already, goes for any substance. I've done a lot, and I gotta tell you, if you are not on your shit, your mental health, like you're thriving, don't overindulge because you're gonna have a bad time, and you're gonna make people around you have a bad time. And that is what's happening to Danny right now. He is, he thinks he's uh, doing the thing that I do. What's the word? Like info dumping. You know, he thinks that he's telling her too much personal information. But really what's happening is he just is unsure about himself. He's nervous. He likes her. He wants this to go well, but he is self-destructing. He is like uh fulfilling like his own like predictions for how this will go because he doesn't believe in himself, believe in his ability to be, compatible with the person. It's all too common a thing that I've seen happen where you know, you're a fun person, you're a good person, you are a little bit quirky and artsy, and you maybe like are into somebody really hard and you don't really know, like you haven't had a lot of that kind of experience in life. So, you try and do what you typically do in comfortable in situations where you're not necessarily super comfortable and try and loosen up, maybe with a drink, maybe with a toot, something like that. And like because you're already a little bit nervous and a little bit unsure of yourself, like the substance is going to affect you in almost a way that's going to make those or not inhibitions, but those self-doubt almost magnify, especially with alcohol. So, like I said, keep yourself to a limit. Yeah. He's like, I don't know. She wants to know, like, are you into me? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just, I'm just so, I feel obligated to be going on dates right now because I'm young and this is the time to do it. And he's like, yeah, he's self-immolating, dude. Like, she's just like, we're just hanging out, bro. Like, don't make it so serious. And now he's like, she's basically been like, "What are we playing a game? Are you? I don't get the jokes. I don't get what we're. If this is fun, if this is supposed to be fun, I'm not having fun. Could you try and explain it to me?" And because that's like almost like his insane comedy brain is kind of like, oh, that didn't work. I'm not being endearing. I'm being cringe. I better double down on how serious I'm being right now. And he's like, well, I need to think about it. If this is something that I really want. And it's like, bro, it's a date. Just relax. Like, am I really ready? Dude, it's a first date on TV. It's not that serious. She she was all into him. He was super like they could have had a really great time. And he instead of like kind of processing his own emotions, he dumps on her and then is like, "Well, what do you think? Am I ready for a second date?" Like he doesn't think he deserves to succeed. So he's just self-destructing. He's he's doing this almost like intentionally, unintentionally, subconsciously, where it's not an intentional thing for him to be blowing this up right now, but he just doesn't have enough experience to really be able to like have a level of self-confidence that's like or even just like understanding of like what this is. Like they're not getting married. This is a first date. Just have fun. Like that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like these kinds of things are supposed to be fun. Like yeah, absolutely. Maybe a little bit of vulnerability is good. Kind of like talking about like some stuff that is kind of serious, but like ultimately just going out, having fun, doing something that you both enjoy. Uh, like honestly, it's weird that the puppet part where he made a puppet that was of her is the best part of the date, and she was into it. And the other part that's like 100% typical dating scenario where they just go out to have drinks, that's where he explodes. That's pretty weird. That's pretty remarkable. She's like, yeah, no, bro. After that, we're not doing a second date. No, you're fun, but you fucked up, bro. And she feels bad for him. She knows what's just happened. She knows how bad he just fucked up, and like knows that that's probably not who he is necessarily. But she knows that, like, yeah. Here's what she says in her confessional: "I scared the shit out of him," and that's accurate. She was too much for Danny to handle. She was too ready and too self-aware to like adapt at this kind of social interaction. She's done this before, and I think this must have been Danny's like first date with somebody that he didn't already know from like the theater or from high school or something like that, because he's still just a baby. They both are, but she's got more experience. It's pretty clear. And then his confessional, it's like, his eyes are like lidded hell hard. He's like a little bit wonky eyed. Like, yeah, so it didn't work out. He's blasted, dude. Like, this is a, this is good uh, to learn from. All right, so that's episode 3 of Dating No Filter. Uh, yeah, Danny knows he fucked up. Courtney knows he fucked up, but somehow, uh, like it was just so bad that it's almost impossible to recover from it. I kind of feel bad for Danny. I think I feel bad for anyone who's been in that position where they're like, well, this is going really well. How about I fuck it up really bad, really, really quickly? I've been there. I've definitely been on those dates where I get so drunk that it's like I don't remember the end of the date, and that person had to just go home. Man, there's this. I'll tell you a story. A bunch of years ago, I went to Hardly Strictly. I had just met this girl, and I was super into her. I was super lonely, and this was not too long after my dad had passed, so I was already kind of like not in a great headspace. But in our kind of earlier talks, another red flag, we both had kind of divulged that I think her dad was really sick or had passed away from exactly the same kind of situation where it was, lifelong alcoholism leading up to a very tragic version of death where, our parents were no longer the people we knew them to be. So, we had a bond, and I was like, I'm trying to get sober. It's been, I think at that point, it had been like a couple of days since I had had a drink. So I drive her down to the city. We stopped by my buddy's house, and we all walked down to Hardly Strictly together. So we're walking around. I run into some more of my friends, and they're all sitting around watching somebody set, and they've got like bottles going. They have other stuff available, and I don't really know how much or what I did because I don't remember most of the rest of that day. I think I got dosed accidentally. Someone might have had a little bit of some saliva soluble substance in their mouth, maybe some kind of psychedelic, and I drank after them. In front of this person, I just told that I was quitting, which obviously, big red flag. And I got zonked. I don't remember hours of that day. Which honestly, I don't even think that it was a psychedelic, because I have done those a lot, and I have a pretty firm awareness of how they interact with me. But it could have been any number of things, and also it was Hardly Strictly, so it might not have even been that interaction cause I don't remember drinking, if I'm being totally honest with you. I just remember absolutely losing my mind. I could have got dosed any number of ways. I don't know how. But I got dosed with something. I don't remember most of that day. The next thing I remember is it's like getting dark. Like this was 10 a.m., 12 a.m. Well, I guess p.m., but you know what I mean. Earlier in the afternoon, that I meet up with those friends who had the stuff. I don't remember anything until like 5 o'clock that night. Maybe a little bit later, and I'm sitting there in the big ass Les Claypool, one of his musical projects, watching him play, and I'm like starting to come to, and I see the girl that I had come with another person that I had been seeing. They were both at the festival. They were friends. It's not that complicated, honestly. I was just weird. Anyway, I meet up. I see them. I go over, and I'm like, "Hey, are we cool? I feel like I fucked something up." And she was not interested in talking to me. And I was like, "Well, do you still need a ride home?" And she was like, "You're in no position to go anywhere. What the fuck are you talking about?" So I was like, "Yeah, good point, good point, good point, good point. All right, cool, cool, cool." And I go and try and find my friends. Les Claypool's set is like ending, and I'm like it's like basically just waking up. Like I'm still groggy, and I think high on something. At least a little bit inebriated in one way or the other. I go and I try and find my friends who I walked to the park with, because I didn't know where the fuck I was. I don't know San Francisco. I never knew San Francisco very well. I don't even like San Francisco. The place gives me anxiety. Instant I get through the bridge, anxiety. I don't know why. Maybe it's a claustrophobia thing because that city is super claustrophobic. But yeah, I couldn't find my friends anywhere. And I end up wandering the streets of San Francisco for hours after that. I think I end up at my buddy's house at like 9, maybe later. And everybody was like, "What fucking happened to you?" I had been trying to call like a bunch of people in the house. And obviously, thinking back, I know that I probably like, there was 1,000 people there. Everybody was hanging out. Probably had music on at the house. So no one heard my phone or their phones ringing or anything like that. Nobody was picking up. I was trying to find where I was supposed to be going. It was just making me absolutely fucking meltdown. I could have been like, honestly, this could have been like psychosis because there's so many blanks in my memory from this. Yeah, I get back to the house. I don't want to tell the whole story because it was pretty traumatic, but basically I did some really dumb self-destructive stuff at the house. And then I don't think I should say what I did after that, but I ended up, suffice it to say, I eventually found my way back to Santa Rosa that night. And I can tell you that I may have been in a car, and I may or may not have had another person in that car with me. I just protecting myself in this is a story. It's all. Anyway, I think you get where I'm coming from. So yeah, I got to tell you that that was not an entirely uncommon way that I was behaving at this point in my life. Like I said, there's a lot of really fucked up shit going on in my life at that point, and I was not dealing with it very well. I had no business putting that on a bunch of kind, caring people who saw something in me that honestly I didn't see inside myself. Something that would have made you want to go on a date with me at that point. And it's not just that I'm not like. Anyway, I'm just saying that it's not fair. Like, it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the other person, because you deserve to have a real shot at those kinds of potential relationships. And relationships could mean romantic or just friendship, and a date can lead to either. I feel like that's something that we don't focus on enough. The fact that, especially if you are like a male-presenting person in the society, I feel like there's a lot of social pressure that you might feel to be like some kind of Lothario. To put your emotions and everything that's going on inside you aside in the pursuit of sexual intimacy. And I can tell you that that's going to be a mistake for you every single time. It might not always be as disastrous as what happened to me in San Francisco that week or some of the other shit that I did at this point in my life. But I can tell you that that you're going to be happier not having those kinds of traumatic experiences on top of the ones you're currently experiencing. It's not fair. You deserve a real shot at genuine connection in this world. We all do. And so do the people that you are trying to date. Those people deserve the real you, a version of you that isn't self-destructing currently, that isn't going to cause them any additional pain or torment or trauma. They don't deserve that. Like, it's not just unnecessary, uncalled for. It's you are creating harm in a world where where that kind of harm doesn't need to. And if you can prevent it, you'll not only will you be better off, but anybody in proximity to you trying to build a relationship with you will also be better off. Time is crazy, and the way that it moves, the way that we move through it, is sometimes difficult to perceive. In the moment when you're going through something really hard, it's hard to see farther into the future. But I promise you, effort and self-care and self-awareness, these things are going to be incredibly helpful to you to build those kinds of connections with people, not only romantic, but platonic as well. So I want to encourage you to be healthy, be the best version of yourself, and not in any kind of fake way, in a way that's it's genuine and showing a certain amount of care for yourself that typically will show that you are able to care for others as well in a similar fashion. Anyway, that was quite a big pause. Let's so we could watch more Dating No Filter. I think it's a little bit clunky with all of the commentary already going into this. Like, it's fun to laugh at the comedians, but I have another show I wanted to watch with y'all called Blind Date. And this is let's see. Oh, okay. I'm on Hulu, and I know that Blind Date is this is the first season. It doesn't look like. Okay, so this is the reboot, because they had a version of this show that ran in the early 2000s, and this is the reboot that happened in 2019. So it's not too old. I feel like it's still a pretty a place where we can do valid critique on modern dating. Granted, this is a couple of years ago, but it's not so long ago that everything in our culture has changed. So let's take a look at Blind Date Season 1. Let's start with episode 5. No particular reason. Just from the synopses, 5 seemed fun. The premise of this show is, it's a classic blind date kind of situation where, in a very similar kind of one to the one we were just watching, to Dating No Filter, this one, they've never met each other before. They're just getting introduced to each other on the day of the date, and they have like kind of pre-planned dates to go on that production has set them up with. Here's another one where they're the martial arts gym. We're just starting this one out. Sean, an IT guy, 27, handsome dude. Okay. He's, a little basic. He's like, focusing on the physical attributes first, all, but he does say, I want someone who's, regardless of how they look, their personality kind of lights up the room, is an engaging person. So he's coming from hopefully genuine place, but definitely not a place that's entirely based in looks. But then he's like, I hope she's gorgeous. Okay, I spoke too soon. My bad. Oh, Gabrielle. Okay, I think it's more cringe to be like, I hope he's rich than it is that I hope she's banging. Is that fair? I hate the whole like I hope he's rich shit. Like obviously you want someone who's like financially like able to support themselves. You don't want to end up getting into a relationship with someone who's incapable of you know supporting themselves because that's it's hard to build up like a certain amount of trust if you are like resentful, perhaps, because you're having to pick up the slack where they are letting it hang. And maybe as in a relationship, a committed relationship, that would feel like a responsibility. Um, but I feel like there's a lot of importance in a very shallow way on whether or not someone has a lot of money. If you're looking for a sugar daddy, that's cool. That's understandable that you're going into it with that perspective because you're not looking to date somebody. You're looking to sell the idea of dating to them. Uh, Sugaring is a totally valid way of making a living. I think it's actually very based and pog. But it's very different if you're going into a genuine ass fucking date with a person and you're like, you better be rich, or she better be rich, or whatever. Like, immediately expecting someone to support you like a sugar daddy would, but like, uh, without any of the like consensual conversation building up that type of relationship. Especially a blind date, it's so cringe, dude. Don't do that to people. Gabrielle just wants a man for her to pay her way. She already doesn't. Like, she works retail. She's not like, you know, got boku bucks, but it sounds like that's the kind of social conditions she was raised in, where she just expects your romantic partner to provide every little thing that you could possibly want, fulfill your wishes and desires, which it's a sugar daddy, that's different. If you're trying to date somebody like that, that's pretty cringe. Like, obviously, she's an attractive woman, and like, I feel like, uh, in some social context, a guy might be like, "That's cool that that's who you are." Uh, but yeah, it's very shallow. What does this guy do? IT? I think that's what I said. That could be well paying or not. It really kind of depends. But yeah, what's with this whole like doing a first date at like a combat sport gym? They're at a kickboxing gym right now. I don't get this. We catch her staring at his ass. She's like, he's got a nice butt. Um, I'm wondering if this spark can turn into a big ass flame. I don't know if she intended for that to be that funny, but that's pretty fucking funny. Oh, now he's looking at her booty. They're into butts. Both of them are into butts. This is a good sign for them. Yeah, stop doing that. So she's hitting pads that he's holding. Um, and like immediately, like in a similar way than the at the than as the last date went in the other show, like they're doing the pad work, but then she goes to try and like attack unpadded places, like his legs and shit. And it's not like she's being playful. Like obviously, I think that kind of like starting a relationship with that kind of interaction is not always going to lead to the best results at the end. I think like low key normalizing uh like violent physical acts towards one another on a first date is a big red flag, like huge red flag. They're at a kickboxing gym and they're having them practice not kickboxing. What the fuck is with this? She lays down, he straddles her and puts his hands on her throat, and she's supposed to reverse it. That's just basic, like like those are self defense courses that get taught for like young singles, like on dates and stuff like that. Because the hands around the neck thing is a not uncommon occurrence, which obviously don't fucking do that shit unless it's consensual and in an intimate way. Because there's plenty of people who like that. That's I'm not judging that kind of shit. I'm judging the fact that putting hands around somebody's neck is uh, panic inducing for most people, uh, the majority of the people on the planet. Oh, she reverses it and then it's like, give me my money. Give me all your money. And I don't know. I already said what I said about this. Um, they're breaking boards, but they're the breakaway boards. They're supposed to actually simulate like how difficult it would be to break a board, but I don't. People who are practicing martial arts, they're not practicing breaking boards. Uh, that's like showmanship. That's not even like legitimate like competition. That's like if you're in a movie, and you're doing stunt choreography, that kind of shit. This is not martial arts is breaking boards. So he's a government contractor. Oh, she's playing an all too common game, which I think is pretty valid in our society, which is like trying to figure out why he's not already in a relationship. She's asking him what his job is. She's asking him what kind of car he drives, which is obviously her thing. She's into rich people. Cringe, major cringe. Um, and yeah, she isn't a car person, but she knows the difference between a 3 Series and a 5 Series BMW, if you know what I mean. She's into him. That's good. She's still playing the What's Wrong With You game. You have kids. What's your credit score? Dude, if you ask me what's my credit score on a first date, I'm leaving. I'm fucking tucking rolling out of that fucking car. You better fucking believe it. I'll shout cringe as I'm rolling down the fucking highway. Hey, at least she's honest. She's like, if you were driving around in a Honda. Oh, wait, she's not honest. She was like, if you were driving around in a Honda, I would still fuck with you. And we all know that's a lie. And she basically reveals it's a lie after he calls her out on it. She just said, I will not mess with you in any way sexually for 9 dates. I think that's fair if you want to put up those kinds of boundaries. I also think it's kind of a sign if you have an arbitrary number longer than 3 for that kind of thing. Like, I guess if you're really hoping that someone is like going to commit to you and you're not just looking for sex out of those kinds of interactions, I think that that's perfectly fair and valid. You have to be open and honest about the fact that you're not looking for something casual. You're looking for someone serious or a serious kind of thing. Honestly, they might be the right for each other. Um, I do think it's weird though. Like, what if you're like really vibing with somebody, 9 dates in, and on the 10th date, like you go to like you've been dating for maybe a couple of months at that point, depending on how often you're able to go out. And this guy's saying, I'm busy a lot. I do a lot of, I'm a government contracted IT dude. He might not have time to date all the time, so that could totally be possible. It's like more than a couple of months to get to 9 dates. So, like, what if on the 10th date, you go and you're super compatible, you're having a great time, you go home with each other, and then you have sex and you're totally, like, you're not compatible in that way, which is totally possible. Like, there's people you can vibe with, but once you take the clothes off and you guys start getting into it, like, there's all different kinds of things that could come up. Like, maybe, one of you is into X, Y, or Z kind of, like, fetish stuff that's, like, almost necessary for you to have a good time in bed. And the other one's like, that's fucking, I don't fuck with that. That's gross, or I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Like, that's totally possible. And then obviously you can still have, like, good, healthy friendships with that person, but, like, it does feel like a little bit of unnecessary heartbreak to me, personally. Like, if you found out you were, like, were or were not compatible early on, like, that's less of both of your times that you feel like was spent developing that closeness, that intimacy, that kind of almost like you're pretty much dating at 9 dates, especially if it's over any amount of time. Like, I think that's like it's not going to be easy to take every time, especially if it's like kind of a rough thing to learn. Like, oh shit, like obviously ideally you'd be talking about this, but in our kind of puritanical culture, it doesn't necessarily come up super casually, and sometimes when it does, it's forced and it's not comfortable for anyone to talk about on a, like, especially early on in dating. Like, a lot of the time, because of the way that we're socialized, the conversation around sex and what you're into, what you're not into, like, I'm going to talk about that in maybe this episode of this show, because it's super common in these kinds of shows for a guy to just, like, totally unprompted be like, So what's your favorite position, babe? Like thinking he's really doing something, thinking he's really fucking suave, and it never is. It's always fucking gross. And very rarely does it coincide with her actually being really into him, and even less often does it make her more into him afterwards. It's usually like, yeah, unprompted and uncomfortable, and yeah, I don't recommend doing it, especially not on a first date. Yeah, no, that's fair. She's like, yeah, no, I'm telling you 9 because that's like what I've experienced in the past. Like, I need to like I've had bad experiences and I don't want to repeat those. And I think that's valid. I don't like repeating my bad experiences either. I don't think anyone does. So like, oh no. He leans in real close. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, valid, you don't want to do anything for 9 dates, but those 9 dates have to include meeting each other's parents. That's not always the way to go, my dude. Uh, for a large portion of my life, God, and not even just my personal experience. This is like experience of a lot of people I know where you don't have good relationships with your parents, um, and having the pressure to introduce a new person that you're like just feeling the vibes out with. That's that's a deal breaker. Like no fucking way. Especially like like there's a lot of like cultural factors and things like that at work as well in those kinds of situations, obviously. Like queer people, trans people, hopefully you have a good relationship with your folks, but shit, not all of us do. That's fucking reality. And these two, obviously, very cis, very het. Um, and I think there's probably like factors at play here where like maybe that's like meeting the parents is almost like like part of a like their own cultural shorthand, like having that closeness with family is something that's more common even if you don't necessarily vibe with your parental figures. um but yeah, I don't know, like this guy was like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that, so I'm really curious. Oh no, I think she drank too much. She explains the Little Mermaid, avoiding all of the conflict. Not even mentioning any of the. She's just like, she's a princess. She gets legs and goes on land, and then she falls in love, and they end up together. And like, that's yada yadaing past some very very pertinent information where Little Mermaid is concerned. Hmm. She is questioning this man. Like she's she's like asking him shit that like is pretty insensitive. Like, have you been to prison? Have you ever killed someone? And it's like, as a black man, he's I think a little uncomfortable with this line of questioning, and she's a little bit tipsy, and I think is not necessarily thinking about all of these questions she's asking him, because that's not first date conversation. Like, imagine if he had. Imagine he would lie to her, and then she'd be mad at him later for lying to her. Or if he didn't lie to her, she definitely isn't dating him for a second date. Maybe that kind of honesty is necessary so you can not have to go on 9 dates with her, or have all of her having her, be have no self awareness around finance or keeping uh, uh, your money at all. I don't know. Like, I think she's a little. Have you ever cut off somebody's finger? Like, that's not even a normal thing. Yeah, she's definitely got narc energy. This is another one where we're doing 2 dates per episode. Uh, so we're still on Sean and Gabby though. Um, are they at his place in a hot tub? They're at a residence, and she's like, "Ooh, you really got money like that." She's sober now, which is a plus for everyone. Oh, she's not gonna kiss him, but she'll give him a lollipop. They're like playing these little games where it's like we're still swapping spit, but it's not like. Ugh. Oh, she brought the thong bikini. Damn. Maybe that's why he's like. Maybe that's she was saying. You don't expect good things to happen on a blind date. That's why I didn't. I was questioning him because maybe she's had some really bad dating experience. That's fair. I kind of feel bad for her. God, especially like he's trying to gamify the 9 date rule. he's like, he's like, maybe at some point she'll get the Louis, the Fendi, all that. But I'm gonna get to know her first. I wonder how many dates it'll take him to buy her a designer bag. Wonder if it's close. I mean, I think that depends on Gabby. Oh, looking at two very white people in the next date. He's it screams. These people are in like fraternities. Oh, Michaela is Michaela. Okay, I've heard of these kinds of gigs. I actually know a couple people who've done them. She does like Disney cosplays for private parties. So she's not like associated with Disney probably, but she'll like go and dress up as like Elsa, Rapunzel, Cinderella, whatever, and go and like go to a little girl or little kid's party and like play the part for them for the day. That's her gig, which honestly, pretty cool gig. She's a little quirky. She's like theater quirky. All right, I like her. She's like, if I see a guy shotgun a beer, it's over. I'm like, yeah, girl, that's a fair boundary to set up. Uh, this guy has never met a real woman. He knows like movie versions of women. That's what his like. He doesn't want her to be like not a real person. Is basically what he's looking for. Very low standards. Ultimately, is what we're talking about here. Fair. He is cute. They're both very attractive people. I don't know. I'm picky with dudes. He is attractive. I'm being picky. My own personal taste. Oh my god. Their date is like baking, and he's got a black linen like shirt on, and they're like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do? We don't want to get like flour on your shirt." And he's like, "Oh, just take it off." They're like, "It's not food safe, bro." He's really doing it. He's hairy, bro. You're gonna be eating chest hair. Oh, you just want to. Yeah, it's not food safe. Oh, he's cutting butter with his hands with his fucking hairy knuckles. Ugh, gloves, you fucking heathen. Oh, they're making biscuits. They're like getting flour on each other. They're just making biscuits with those hands. That means they're getting salmonella on each other's face. I want to say. Wait, biscuits regularly have eggs, right? I'm not imagining that. Yeah! This has the little pop-ups occasionally, and it brought up eating chest hair while they're eating the biscuits they made together. No. Yeah, he's literally a threat, bro. He knows that's her one of her red flags. Oh, he is admitting. She's told him. She tells him, shot getting a beer, it's a red flag, I'm out at that point. And he's like, oh, I still do that. Like, completely oblivious. Just an idiot. Just this dumb man. Don't be a dumb man. It's not that hard. She's gonna explain his job. Or her job to him. Oddly, he hasn't said what he does for a living. He asked her if she has any special talents, which don't do that. We all know what you're trying to imply there. You're not fucking smooth. But her answer is kind of disturbing. Maybe intentionally, I'm not entirely sure, but she says, I have like a built-in R-word whistle. SA whistle. I don't know what you want me to call it in this context, but that's what she says. She's like, we can call it a fire alarm. Oh, she can whistle with her teeth, like really loud whistle with her teeth. That's what she's talking about. She keeps doing it in the bar. Oh man, it's not even a whistle. What is she doing? It's a really sharp, high-pitched noise that does sound like a fire alarm. Or that kind of whistle. Oh man, it's a late night pool party? This is just an excuse to get them mostly naked. Oh no, they're playing beer pong. I hope she doesn't fall for this. This is bad. This is like her red flag. She's like, now he's trying to get her literally naked. If I get all of them, you have to take a naked lap. He's like basically forcing her to chug this beer right now. This is creepy. I don't like this. She's doing it, but I don't think she really wants to. Oh, this guy's cringe. I hate this man. She said she wasn't gonna chuck in a beer, and I got her to do one. White people dancing. White people dancing. Hate it. Can we kiss at the end of this date? I want to. You're a fucking nerd, bro. He turns one kiss into like trying to make out with her. Production's playing her little whistle thing over the top of them kissing. They know exactly what's happening. He's crossing boundaries, and she's not able to. She doesn't feel comfortable enough to tell him she's not that into it. She's a baby. She doesn't know any better. This is bad. I feel terrible for her. Ugh. Okay, that's the end of that episode. Nikki Glazer's the host of the show, so she's just wrapping up. I'm gonna take a quick fiber, and we'll come back. And while I'm away, you let me know in chat if you want to keep watching this show or find another one, because there are no shortage of dating shows in the world. We don't have to keep watching this. They are all just as cringe and easy to critique. So, I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Hey, friends, thanks for sticking with me. We are back watching Blind Date. Seems like everybody is down to just keep vibing on this atrocity of a television show. Let's keep it going. We haven't even seen like some of the really bad ones I've seen in the past, because this is, I think I watched the older version of this show where it was really bad. Although Dating No Filter and this show are basically identical, so sometimes I have a hard time telling them apart. So we're on episode 5, season 1 of Blind Date from 2019. No, wait, we started on episode 5. Why is it replaying it? Unless it's doing a last time, which I don't think it is. No. Okay, so correction. We're on episode 6. Oh man, Hulu on my laptop is just working like shit, dude. Alright. There we go. We should be in episode 6 now. Here we go. Episode 6, Blind Date, Season 1, 2019. Oh, cool! We have normal-looking people. Oh, we have a comedian and a cosplayer, and they look like regular-ass people. They're not, like, supermodels. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Alright, they're doing the whole preview thing. I don't like the preview thing. I don't think I've watched this one. I'm skipping the preview. So we have Christina, who's rocking the pink hair. We love to see it. Oh. Oh, did I speak too soon about Christina? She's giving Nazi. I am hoping he is Odin's gift to the universe. She is a cosplayer, so that could go either way, frankly, with the whole ideology thing. But a lot of the people I know in the cosplay community are just really big nerds, so this could just be her being a fantasy and mythology nerd. Give her the benefit of the doubt. Her tattoos aren't giving Nazi necessarily. She is all tatted up. She's got some pretty decent work on her. Some traditional stuff. She's got what do they call the real heart? It's not like the heart-shaped heart, it's the, like what your heart looks like. Anatomical heart. She's got an anatomical heart, but with a key in it, like a keyhole. Symbology. She's got a crescent on her, but I don't think it's a Sailor Moon crescent. And this guy. Wait, we have to talk about this. Did you just boo Sailor Moon? Oh, okay, yes. Okay, we're on the same page. Sailor Moon is based. And is Sailor Moon predates The Matrix. Sailor Moon is just The Matrix before The Matrix. Aw, your first anime? That's so cute. Yeah, no, it's a perfect... Yeah! it's a perfect first anime. Yeah, very gay, and we love it. So Joe is the most normal-looking man you've ever seen. He's a beard, he's got long hair, he's a comedian. He's, I wouldn't say dumpy, necessarily, but he definitely is just like a dude, He's a dude-looking dude. He's not super gorgeous, but he's not a bad-looking guy. He looks like he owes at least three people $20. Yeah, I like this guy. He's like, I'm looking for someone who's laid back, who's very chill. Maybe she's what did he say? Okay, he does do personality before appearance, but he says I'm looking for someone who's a little more curvy, someone with some hips. Oh no. Uh, Homeboy was drunk last night, so and they're at a gym. Again, a gym. They go for the handshake into a hug. It's a CrossFit gym, and she takes a look at him and she's like, "You're into CrossFit? Ouch, dude. I don't think you meant that like you meant that, but damn, that hurts." But he's rolling with it. He's like, "No, I don't do CrossFit." Oh, this is her type. She likes the long hair and the beard. She likes that he's not like, you know, uh, all muscles, no brains. Oh, she's got this cute little bunny with like laser beams shooting out of its forehead. I like that. He likes the pink hair too. Oh, she likes that he's a stand-up and he's on the road a lot. Which you gotta find the right person if you're stand-up on the road. Wow. Whoa! She doesn't just do cosplay stuff. She makes costumes for people, including fursuits. Alright, I kind of like her. Maybe she's not cringe. But then again, furries, you don't know. Like, it's similar as fucking cosplay community. Could be very progressive people. Could be Nazis. Oh boy. She does like it if you're able to pick her up, evidently. That's something she said too. She's got okay squat technique. Oh, he compared her ass to a sunset. I can't tell if I love that or hate that. If I'm being real with you. She's got him sweating. I think she likes it. He's got her laughing. That's always a good sign. Genuine laughter. That's green flag. Alright, well she's kind of she says she's the biggest pervert. So they're now going to be pervs over some drinks is what they both have agreed to do. I think it's good fun. I think they're being silly. Which is it's good. And I think her telling him she's a little bit pervy is kind of like let's bone down. Definitely hang out with him again on a friendship basis. So. Oh, she's like, okay. Okay. She's taking it slow. She's like, all right, well, right now we're friends. Like I could date him a couple more times as friends, and maybe there's some romantic stuff happening. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Her full-time job is making costumes for people. That's pretty cool.
year I did a sheep roll. And I wore that sheep roll because it was like basically like a bikini. And I guess everyone knows me as the sheep girl.
Oh, we're getting into furries. Okay, she's like, I'm known as Sheep Girl because of a sheep bikini I wear. And he's asking, yeah, she's a furry. Oh, Joe's being weird about it. Don't be weird about it. If someone is passionate about something and is trying to tell you, like, no, you have to meet, like, in this case, she's like, no, furries are great people. They're, you know, a lot of them just like, you know, it's just their thing, you know, it's not even always sexual. And he's like, yeah, but what if they fuck gophers? And it's like, bro, that's not funny. Like, and she's being honest. She's being passionate about this thing that she enjoys. And he's like, kind of poo-pooing it. And that's not cool. Don't do that. It's not going to make anybody laugh. Making people self-conscious isn't fun. Oh, she starts the sex stuff. She's like, do you have any wild fantasies? She's like, tie me up, gag me. She's being very forward. With a guy, she's like, he's just my friend. So, I think he's pretty vanilla, is what I'm getting. She's like, butt plugs are cool, and he's like, I would never. You can't be a freak and then freak shame. She's like, don't say you're a foot fetishist. He likes eating the butt. So maybe he's not totally vanilla. Smoke grass, eat ass. He's unbelievable. Oh my fucking god. Dude is like, yeah, eating ass is cool, and I don't even care if you're perfectly maintained. A little bit of stink is good for you. No, bro, that's how you get hepatitis A. Like, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, that's... It's a very important... If you're gonna be eating the booty, you gotta be, like, making sure everybody's, like, clean and ready to go. Like, you don't want to eat a boo... You don't want to eat anybody's boo-boo. Like, that's not good for you. I don't think they'll like it. It's kind of an embarrassing thing to be doing anal stuff and have poo come out. That's why you want to prep for these things. Like, the butt needs a little bit of preparation. I think every sexual encounter needs preparation. That's what foreplay's for in this case. Sometimes foreplay includes going and taking a fucking shower because you pooed recently. You know, just be healthy. Like, that, it's okay. But he's like, no, I just want the truth. It's like, that's not the truth, my dude. Eating poo is not true in any more ways than... Oh boy. This date's going on. They don't just do the drinks, they're going to do another thing. They're going to a sauna. It is. It is. Sam saying is probably the best date so far. I wouldn't disagree with that. They're both nerds, and they're both kind of gross. But in a cute way that they... She mistook his sweat for goosebumps. Take that as you will. Oh, she's she just wiped the sweat off his back and then rubbed it on her face. She's gonna fuck this guy. Like, she's over the whole just friends for right now thing. I'm pretty sure. She's into sweat, obviously. I think we're. I don't need to say it explicitly, but she did. She kind of freaky. I think she's great. Maybe she's not a Nazi. Oh, kissing in the sauna. Steamy. Oh. I don't know if he is fully as freaky as she is. I think he's a little. No, he says 10 out of 10. Yeah. Uh. Bro said. Bro said she's not the kind of girl you need to send flowers. Just some old underwear. Yeah, I mean, it's always both. I think we should focus on the fact that, yeah, if you like having the dirty underwear smell, I think that's cool. You're a freak. I like it. But also, flowers are nice. Everybody likes flowers. It's always both. All right, so we're meeting Troy now. New date. Troy's nervous. He's an optician. He's a 30-year-old optician who is like, you never know what you're gonna get on a blind date. She might be bald or she might be blind. It's like, bro, you would think you're a little more like understanding, a little more sensitive around that kind of specific disability when it's literally your job to be that. Troy. Oh no. So this guy is an optician who uh wants to laugh. He wants to make you laugh all the way into your panties, is what he said. Um, my concern is that he's not going to be very funny. If we're never serious, we're always having fun, then yay. That's what he's looking for. So Nikki is a stand-up comic. Oh no! He's gonna try and be funny to a stand-up. Oh, buddy, Troy. My God. She's all height doesn't matter unless he's got a complex. Valid. It's valid. They're both gonna try and be funny. This is gonna be cringe. Oh boy. Steel yourselves, my friends. Oh, she's like pick me up and he grabs that booty by the bottom. That's how they met, dude. They didn't even say their names to each other yet. Oh my god. Oh. So they're at an art studio. They're doing string art. I'm not entirely sure if that means they're doing art with string or if they're using string as like a replacement for a brush or... I'm confused about what they're even doing. He's already doing baby and shit? What's with that? So... Oh, I think I know what they're doing. Okay, so they're given planks with a basic, like, face painted on it, right? Really simple. And then they take nails and they're nailing nails into the board, and I think they're going to wrap string around the nails to add depth, dimension, whatever. Um, I mean, I guess it's a version of being vulnerable. Is he's a dude and he tries to nail something into the board and it doesn't go in straight, and instead of being like self-conscious about it, he's like, sometimes that's how life is. It's just crooked. I think she appreciated that. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to be cringe. I'm hopeful. Uh, she nailed it better than him, and he's not. Oh, she's. Why would you ask him, girl? She asked him how tall he is, and he's shorter than her by at least a few inches. So, uh, oh no. Is she trying to make this man self-conscious? Oh man, why would you ask what your height is? You're looking at him, you know he's shorter than you, girl. 5'6", 5'4" when I'm laying down. Oh, is he saying he's trying to say he has a big wiener. That's what's happening. Oh no, the drinks are gonna be bad. Oh no, I'm nervous again. They put 2 nails in. That's... So she's got very red hair, and he asked her if it was wig. I feel like they're picking at each other a little bit. It might be in good fun, but it doesn't look like they're having that much fun doing it. She's like, you should know the last thing you do is ask a black woman about her hair. His mom's probably got the same wig. Oh boy. Troy asks if she tells jokes. Oh no, he did the classic, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. That's obvious optometrist? What was the word? Troy. Oh my god, no you didn't, sir! Oh man, he keeps trying to be funny with sexual innuendo and it is not working for her. So she called him out on it, like, why is everything an innuendo with you? And he's like, why is your mind so dirty? Are you in heat? In heat. That's not what you say to a prospective romantic partner. You don't. That's what you say for animals, my friend. Don't ever do that. Ever, 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 ever. I don't even think you should do that with your friends. That's just an insult. That's just being mean. And odd and just uncomfortable. Ugh. In heat? Gross. I don't like when I say it. Don't say that on a date. Yuck. Ugh. She didn't like it. Her face is saying no. She's about to leave. She's giving him another chance. She's like, you can learn from this. And he does the thing where he's looking at her like, I'm never going to learn a thing in my life. What are you talking about? As a comedian, she should have laughed at the unfunny thing I said. Right? Both of their string arts are weird. And he's having to carry them around now, and they're just like these, like, 3 2x4s together. What? Don't be. What are you. What? I missed something. Looking at their weird art that they made. She's trying. Oh, she thinks drinks are gonna help. He knows she doesn't like him. No, okay. Alright, this is worth talking about. Okay, I mean, I think the in heat thing was already over the line. She definitely said as much. But she's hopeful. She's like, maybe he'll, instead of what we experienced earlier, now he'll be nice and thoughtful over drinks, which I think is a really, that's naive on a level I don't understand. But Nikki's trying. She's trying to be optimistic with this date because she's already signed on to do like probably 8 to 10 hours on this fake date on the internet or for blind date. You know, I wonder. I know some of the gigs that I've seen, like some of the postings for these jobs, they definitely do say they pay, but like I know that's a scale. Like it could be like you get, $100 a day. Maybe you get, you know, $30 a day. Maybe you get $5 a day. Like really depends on a whole lot of different factors, whether it's union and things like that. And most of these are not union for very obvious reasons. So he says, I know she has this slight hate for me, but I'm a gentleman, so I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna try and carry the conversation. I'm gonna try to be nice. All right. So a number of things weird about this, guys. I don't care how much you feel like you need to get laid to be valid socially. You need to disabuse yourself from that notion post haste. That's a lot of big words. Gross. I'm sorry now. Anyway, I'm just saying that if you're not having fun on a date, if you think the other person isn't having fun and is just trying to be polite or whatever, like that's time to say, I'm messing up. I need to change, like, not who I am, but maybe what I'm trying, the way I'm presenting myself is turning somebody off. This is where self-awareness should kick in and be like, you know, my whole thing that I think I'm doing isn't what I think it is. It's like he's not being a gentleman, and I don't think he's going to try to be a gentleman. I think he's going to keep trying to be like funny with gross and inappropriate jokes, and I think, and for this, by that same token, she's not having fun. Neither of them want to be on this date anymore. This can only get worse. I mean, there's a possibility that they have a great time after drinks, during drinks, whatever. But like, this is a rocky start, and I think at this point in a real date and real life, if you're realizing you're not having fun, the person you're on the date with isn't having fun, call it. Call it. Maybe you could try again later. But right now, y'all have rubbed each other the wrong way, and it's time to do something else with your time. Like, these are supposed to be fun social interactions, learning about a new person, getting to know them, maybe intimately on some level or another. It shouldn't be, like, it seems like, especially with him saying, I'm going to be the gentleman and essentially carry this conversation, it's like she doesn't have, like, her own, like, thoughts or feelings about this whole situation. He's going to change them. And in a manipulative way. I don't think you shouldn't be doing that at all. I guess I thought I had more on that, but that's pretty simple. Nikki's funny though. She asked him, "When's the last time you ate a chip?" She's trying. She's really trying. We love you, Nikki. You're doing your best, doll. Oh, this man, he's got eye doctor personality. She feeds him a chip and does like baby nom nom nom, like he's her little baby. Um, oh no. Oh my God, he's doing the thing again. Tell me a joke, comedian. And she answers, I'm not going to give you one. This isn't a handout." And he's like, "How much you want me to pay for it?" Oh no. And then he's like, "Do you feel like men have to pay for your time?" He's like low-key gaslighting this poor lady. I don't think he realizes it, but he's like, "I'm gonna insinuate this thing that's gross. And then when you call me out on it, I'm gonna be like, that's all you. That's your fault. Why are you thinking that, you weirdo?" Like, it's playground gaslighting, but it's still gross. And especially when you're not a child, it's bad luck. Ah! She's like, "You're gonna be material." Yeah, he keeps trying to get her to be funny. And she is funny. He just isn't laughing. Dinner was nice. The date? She's hilarious. I like her. Oh, he asked straight up, how do you think the state's going? We didn't even get the answer. What happened? They went to like a fake commercial break and they didn't even answer the question. How do you think the date's going? I want to know what Nikki thinks. Her face says a lot. Maybe I missed it. I'm going back. Okay, I think I realized why they didn't say it specifically, because before he gets in the car, she's in there mic'd up, and she's like, "Please kill me now. I can't do this anymore." Oh no! And then he asks. Okay, so now it's another night pool thing. I don't know why they keep doing the whole like where it's nighttime when we're gonna go to a pool. I think again, I think it's just a way to get them in less clothes. Alright, there are frogs screaming in the background for this audio. I can't even imagine how this must sound to them. Like, like he's looking at her like he's a lost little puppy, and she asks him, "What can you teach me?" And he's like, "How to compromise with a man." She hates him. She is so done. She's trying to teach him. He doesn't deserve it. Let's be real. She's trying so hard, and he is being so disrespectful. She's out. I think she's leaving. She's leaving. Good for her. Don't fart, man. You're not funny. Troy. Fart humor can be funny. You just have to read the vibe, and this guy is not understanding what a vibe even is. Yeah, neither of them had fun. They could have called this after the first date. They should have. Oh no, he's literally on camera before she's even left. She's like, he's booty calling other people on his phone. Ugh. Okay. Episode 7. We're starting episode 7. That was a rough one. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, you You don't have to suffer through a date. These are supposed to be fun. These are supposed to be interesting. These are supposed to be exciting moments of your life. They're not supposed to be punishment or torture. Like, if you're not having fun, split off. Do something else with your life. Obviously, this is for TV, so it's, you're probably contractually obligated or something like that. But, yikes. That was rough. Neither of them were having fun. I think he wasn't having fun because he realized pretty early on he wasn't going to get laid because she didn't like him. I think that colored his perception of the rest of the state. Alright, so episode 7, we're starting it off. Oh, dang. Have we really been doing this that long? Wow, okay, cool. Time has flown by. Okay. Okay. We're meeting our first daters. May the hairdresser. She's a little cutie. She's pansexual. We love her. We stan our pansexual comrades. She got a lot of tats, but they're all text. Like, unless it's really, really, really important, and that's your vibe. Like, you want all your tattoos to mean something and shit. Oh! Dina coming out swinging. Dina might be a hookup, dude. Little bit shallow. We know that our queer comrades, they do like the hookup culture. They're starting off almost like fun conflict. They're doing mini golf. I haven't got Dina's pronouns yet. I'm trying to be patient. Okay. So May is competitive. Dina knows they're bad at mini golf. So this might go really well. Mini golf, kind of what do you think? I don't know if I like mini golf for a first date. Like it's definitely a person to person thing, but golf isn't like even mini golf, not that fun. Whoa! All right, well that was pretty impressive. Uh, so Dina hits the ball and definitely really messed up, but May caught it between her calves, and I think that was good for both of them. I mean, if you're gonna be bad at it, at least you're having fun. They might not get through 9 holes. They might get through 3 because Dina's really bad at this.
Beginning there? Yeah. Can we introduce each other? Like, do I know your name? Can you tell me and I don't remember? I am Dina.
May forgot Dina's name already. It's been 20 minutes. I would do the same thing, to be fair.
Said she was very nervous when we first met, and I could see it. Now that May knows her date's name, everything should become a lot less awkward. I was a weird, more reserved kid, very like introverted and kind of shy. Doing theater was like a way for me to like express myself. Yeah, I to participate in high school.
Dina is a theater kid, which explains why performing bad at mini golf is almost fun. Oh no, we have theater kid and the baton people. What flag club? I can't remember what they call that shit. Oh no. Awkward laughing silences. It's like, I think they're a little weirded out because there's a driver. It's not just them alone. I mean, I would probably not know exactly how comfortable I was in that situation.
No one, but like I had no expectations. I think I was super nervous about the whole thing because they asked me my sexual orientation and pansexual, so that's like it could literally be. Oh, you had no idea? Anything. I didn't know what to expect. I just didn't sound like anyone wanted my direction to be that person. As long as you are attracted to someone who identifies as a woman, we're good.
Okay. Dana is a woman identifying lesbian. Now I can feel comfortable. They're rocking a little androgyny. That's why I didn't want to assume. And they're a little awkward, but I think they like each other. I think that's why it's awkward. They're physically attracted to each other, it looks like. It seems like they're really unclear about it. In fact, they're like basically speaking in riddles at each other. What did I get? We're talking.
Oh yeah, is that I was actually just gonna say like, oh, well, what do you think?
Each other if they're enjoying themselves. So I think I'm wrong in this case. I think they are into each other, but they're asking each other if they're having fun. And usually that's a bad sign. Like if you're having to, like if you're, I mean, I guess if you're not very good at reading people, it's good to ask. It's good to be, ready for the reality of that they were going to be like, no, I'm not having fun with you. But hopefully that won't happen. And most people, honestly, are just too polite to say I'm having a bad time. I think we've seen that in the episodes we watched already. But they're like, yeah, I'm having fun. Confirmation. And May is self-aware that she's awkward. That's nice. And Dina's into it. And then they go right back to being awkward and not being able to hold a conversation with each other. I think that's sexual tension, though. I think that's how I'm reading this. They're into each other.
Oh no. May and Dean are cute. The next date's gonna be weird. They just gave a little preview. Ah! The driver wasn't sure they were continuing. He tried to drive away without Dina. They're playing a free association word game now. And they're just naming things that are like pussy. Like cat, beaver, bearded dragon. That was their word association. They're gonna bang this one out. I'm pretty sure. And good for them. And now they're having a poolside time. The production just must own a house that has a pool that they do this at. Because it's the same loud ass frogs. So May wants to spice it up. Oh no. Alright, the cherry stem and a knot thing doesn't mean anything. I think we all need to get over this belief that it has some kind of like sexual significance. I think that it's like shorthand at this point because we've been doing this for so long, but I can tell you for a fact that it does not apply to giving each other pleasure if you're able to tie a cherry stem with your tongue. It does show a certain amount of dexterity, but other than that, we have to stop doing it. It's I don't like it. Maybe that's just me. May is taking a really long time with it, and it is. Oh. So May dared Dina to eat whipped cream off of her neck, and they both liked that. And now the dare is just let's make out. I think we all know where this is going. This is working for both of them. Little lip biting going on? My god. Yeah, this is just going back and forth. The one dare where it's like, I dare you to kiss me, and then the other one's like, I dare you to kiss me. Just, I dare you to stop filming and let's go fuck. I mean, okay, so exchanging numbers, that's smart. I have literally forgot to get somebody's number when I meant to. Like, and we should have exchanged numbers. Kind of embarrassing. Sometimes at the end of these episodes we'll get an update. They had a second date. Alright, so we're introducing our new ones. It's Jessica's first blind date. She's looking for just semi-attractive. She's not, super shallow. A musician. Another person spends a lot of time on the road. Jessica just doesn't want someone who is dumb, which I think reads as ignorant or emotionally unintelligent. Okay, unfortunately, I don't know why this feels mean. Not trying to be mean to this guy, but Chris is not conventionally attractive in a very real way. He's got no chin. He's got kind of like squinty, beady, like, you know, eyes. He's very. I get. You know what? He's got a decent body. He looks like he works out. So there's that. If that's your vibe. He thinks he's funny. Which is. He's super corny too. Like he his he's like, I work on my body, but then he's still just really awkward. Like it goes to show you could be like super, studly, have a lot of muscles and stuff like that, and still have absolutely zero riz. This guy's a great example of that. He's very, very nerd vibe. Just and just pale, just very white, like glows in the dark kind of shit. Yeah, Jessica doesn't find him attractive. And their date is to they're playing dress up. Like or production has set out a bunch of different costumes for them. She's gone with some very fancy, like, dress kind of vibes. He's going shirtless, silver cape, what are the baggy, bunchy shorts, Sam? My costuming expert friend. They're like shorts, and they've got the like ruffles at the like mid thigh, and then there's tights that come the rest of the way down. It's very period. Jumpers, thank you, thank you. So they're literally gonna. I mean, it says they're LARPing, but he's got a plastic sword, and if you were LARPing, you would be absolutely not allowed to use that because it can hurt people. Wait, it kind of has a bend to it, where it might actually be foam and wire. I could be wrong. Oh, she's not impressed by the body even. Oh no, Jessica's not into this. This is bad. Like, it's his thing, it's what he's got, and she's not impressed. Oh. He's burping in front of her, and she's like, oh, I think she likes a photographer more than him. And they're going to get pictures taken in their new cosplay thing that they have set up. Cosplay, it's not. It's insulting to cosplayers. He hit a tree with the foam sword to move it out of her face. Oh god, he's a data analyst. Okay. Oh, wow. She was on American Idol. Oh no. Please tell me they're not going on the second date in these same outfits. They're getting into the car. Oh, this goober. The driver is trying not to laugh at them. Oh no. They're on the second part of the date in their costumes. This is gonna be painful. This is hard to watch, guys. Like, I feel bad for both of them. Production gave her, like, okay. Okay, I might be wrong. She says he's a nice guy. He's cool. She's excited to get drinks with him. Because the drinks are gonna help. Oh no. So he tells her he doesn't really have like a direction in life. Like he said, he's a data analyst, which means you can translate that into a career. I'm pretty sure that's something everybody's gonna need. I guess maybe I'm overestimating here. Anyway, she's like, well, she's trying to help. She's like, well, what do you like doing? He's like, well, I like making people laugh. She's like, well, so you try to be a comedian. So he tells her a joke. And can I tell you that she did not think it was funny? There's barely pity laughter happening. He says, what should happen at a vegetable party? They should let us turn up the beats. Like, in the way he delivers it, man, if you're telling the same jokes that, like, your grandpa would tell around the dinner table at Thanksgiving, don't do that. You're not, like, you wouldn't tell a knock-knock joke. I mean, I would, but because I'm corny, and sometimes it's funny, but not on the first date. Unless it's on the, I don't know. Yeah, how are they letting them come in with this guy no shirt on? Like, this is weird. He's like, she asks him, do you date a lot? And he's like, no, I'm pretty picky. And she looks at him like, you're full of shit, dude. Oh, man. She just asked him if he's a virgin. She reads this guy as having absolutely no riz. I feel bad for him. Like, she isn't taking this seriously, and I don't even think he knows what he's doing. No, you know what? If I'm being fair, if I'm being super fair, this guy is trying to be charming. He's trying to be kind of classy. I mean, the shirtless thing with just the cape, I think that was a bad move. It definitely doesn't give you a great first impression, especially with how white and pasty this man is. But yeah, like he's trying. Maybe actually, he's trying too hard. Maybe like he's trying to be kind of funny, but then she's really kind of not into it, and he's kind of trying to win it, like win her favor over. She's really just she's playing hardball. I don't know. This doesn't bode well. Where is? Oh no. I think he was trying to brag when he told her that his first time was 10 minutes. And then he like tries to retract it in the confession. They're still in the outfits to their new like poolside. Okay, they get to put on bathing suits. At least there's that. There's a lot of booze. Oh, there's a lot of booze. Oh, and he is pounding them. Oh no, she's trying to let him down easy. He's like, I'd see you again. She's like, Okay, I could be wrong about this man. He calls her, he says, she's like, she could be a booty call. Like, this guy's, he's like McLovin. Like a real person as McLovin. That's what I'm getting now. At the end of this date. She's lying to let him down easy, but it's pretty obvious that she's lying. She's not good at it. Oh man, that was rough. Oh, he calls himself McLovin at the end! No! Uh, thoroughly embarrassing for that poor young man. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was painful to watch. Oh my god, I can't even finish that one. I mean, it's over. They're just, Nikki's wrapping it up now. But yeah. She had a bad time. He had a bad time. Okay. Well, I know we've been ending these around 4-ish. Last time we went a little bit later, but if we start a new episode, I'm going to be going for at least another hour. And I think that was enough for me today. I think after that last episode, I've had enough of that. So, let's start wrapping up. I want to start off by saying that you don't have to be like, I want to tell the boys, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be like great looking. You don't have to be chiseled. You just have to be like fun to be around. Be honest. Be kind. Be respectful. And that doesn't mean you can't be funny. That doesn't mean you can't tell jokes or have a good time. Like, it just means like Yeah, just be self-aware. Be perceptive of what the other person is feeling. Treat them like a person and not like some kind of object that you are, in competition with their panties. This is a real person. Treat them like that. Give them dignity and respect and autonomy. And if you are into them, show them that. Show them that you're into them. Show them that you care. Show them that you want to be somebody reliable and fun to be around with them. Don't be a perv. Like it's so easy, and don't overdrink. I think that's the biggest lesson we can take away from today. Is just don't go on a first date with somebody and then get blasted. We all have to learn this lesson. Sadly, some of these people had to learn that lesson on a television show, broadcast for the fucking world. That's bad for them. I feel terrible because I did that a number of times before I learned my lesson. So yeah, that's a lot of things. And for all the girlies out there, you don't have to just like stick with it. I mean, there's a personal safety issue, and I totally get that. But if you're going on a date, you never met this guy before, you can have a friend kind of like plan to call you. Just, a close friend. You can have your mom do it if, you're not like, you're new to a city, you haven't made a lot of close friends or whatever. But you can have someone like plan to call you or text you to get you out of a date if you're not having fun. So like, say you're meeting up at 7 o'clock with this dude, have your friend, your mom, whoever text you or call you at like, an hour, hour and a half past the time the date starts. So 7 o'clock, 8:30, around there. Just to make sure everything's going well. If you're not going to be comfortable saying, like, I'm not into this, if you're afraid that person could do, could lash out at you or not take the news that you're not having fun well, like, it'll give you an out that doesn't put you in a position where you feel like you're afraid or uncomfortable, and it'll make, like, hopefully make whoever you're turning down a little less they won't feel as dejected, essentially rejected, either way. So yeah, other than that, I mean, you just feel comfortable when, like, to leave. Like, I want that for our society. I think I know most dudes, even the ones in this show, wouldn't want someone to feel like they're on a date with you out of like obligation to finish it so you don't do physical harm to them. Like, that's, no one wants another person to feel that way unless they're a specially specific type of fucking loser, scumbag, fucking asshole. If you are one of those people, fight me. I don't know. I don't have anything nice to say to you. I'll collect your teeth and wear them on a necklace. That's all. But yeah, I mean, and if that's something you never thought about, make sure you're giving people outs and like being upfront with how you're feeling. Like, if you're not picking up that they're vibing with you and you're on a date with them and you are into them, just be honest. Be like, hey, so I really like you. I think this could go somewhere, but I'm not 100% on how you're feeling. Want to just talk about that. Start a conversation. Leave it open-ended. Don't put them in a position where they're having to like defend the whole date or anything like that. Make it conversational. Make it human. This isn't life or death. This is just supposed to be conversational. And I think another big point, no matter who you are, going into a date and thinking that it's going to be like the romance of your life or whatever is a bad move. Go into it open. Go into it like this could be a friend, this could be an acquaintance, this could be somebody who, we connect on like a business level. Maybe they become an associate in that direction. Don't go into it thinking this is going to be the love of your life. You're only in for disappointment at that point. Like, if you're done dating and you don't want to just have casual hookups or anything like that anymore, you can be upfront and open with your dates about that long before you ever go out with them. Like, someone's pursuing you, just like, be upfront with them. Tell them that's how you feel. It doesn't matter who you are. Be upfront with them. Yeah, because you don't want to hurt anybody. Nobody wants to be the person who's hurting somebody, especially in a romantic or dating context. That's a bad move. It's a sensitive and vulnerable place that we all go to, regardless of how it is going to end or how it ends up. Like, no one wants to be the one to hurt somebody. So go into it open. Go into it, without all of the social pressures that you might feel for, like, that are trained into us. And other than that, just, yeah, as I've said multiple times, be self-aware about yourself during these kinds of situations. Don't hyper-focus. I think that can be bad. But there's a line, and it's pretty obvious when you're nearing it. If you're just sitting there hyper-fixating on your own feelings and everything that's going on inside you, you're not going to be having fun, and the other person won't be having fun. It's time to call it. But yeah, I think that's about it for our program today. Feel free to message me on social media. You can find me at Lava Submersible on TikTok and on Instagram. You can hit me up on Facebook Messenger, I guess, if you really want to. But yeah, and if you appreciate what I'm doing here, please donate what you can to my Venmo or to the Nerdcrafty Patreon. We would really appreciate the help there. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and good journeys.